Greetings to all. My name is Bianca Jagger, and I am Council of Europe Goodwill Ambassador to abolish the death penalty. I'm here today to urge all consular officials to do everything in their power to save prisoners who are facing the death penalty in the United States. Providing assistance to people facing execution is an important and accepted part of a consular official's role.
Consular assistance is crucial for the protection of the interests of citizens who are in a foreign country. And particularly if they are faced with such an extreme situation like a death penalty sentence, it is very important that consular assistance is there to provide help and support.
Article 36 provides that when a foreign national is arrested, the authorities have the obligation to inform her of her right to have the consulate notified of her detention, and of her right to have access to communicate with the consulate. And it's a critical right because individuals every day of the year find themselves detained in unfamiliar circumstances in countries where they don't speak the language, they don't know the laws, they don't have contacts with the legal community, their families may be far away, and the consulate is a lifeline for them.
Foreign nationals are particularly vulnerable in death penalty cases because, they are most likely not to know the language perfectly. They certainly don't know the way the justice is administered in that particular country. So it's only normal that they will require particular attention and help.
When a foreign government is willing to intervene, and intervene forcefully, as in, providing assistance, perhaps filing briefs, making diplomatic representations, totally shifts the dynamic of the case. Because instead of some anonymous person who they want to kill, who may well be black and who has no one on their side, suddenly you've got an individual who has a powerful government working with them, and that makes a life and death distinction.
Consular officials need to know that their presence and their involvement in a case can literally make the difference between life and death, because simply by taking the smallest steps, they can really influence the outcome of a case. Meeting with the defendant, helping him to understand the legal process is extremely important. Being present in the courtroom so that the trial judge notices or the jury notices that they're there to support the defendant is also very important.
When the consular official comes, as for example in the case of Chris Maharaj, and I get to introduce him to the judge, and the judge realizes that the representative of Great Britain is sitting there watching, they behave a whole lot better.
Prisoners can be fatally prejudiced when they do not receive early consular intervention and when they are forced to act without appropriate legal assistance. Experience shows that it is paramount for consular officials to act early and to act promptly when they learn that somebody has been arrested. The first step is to meet with the prisoners and ensure that he has adequate legal assistance.
If a consular official visits the prisoner immediately following arrest, this can help prevent irreversible damage being done to a case.
It's vital to get involved in a capital case at the very beginning, because the time that the executive can make a decision as opposed to the judge is at the beginning and at the end. So the district attorney can simply say, I'm not going to seek the death penalty, and then it's all over. Whereas once the guy is sentenced to death, it's much, much harder to put an end to it.
In the case of Neil Revel, a British national in California, the British Prime Minister wrote to the district attorney, who's the elected prosecutor, to voice our opposition to the death penalty. And the local consul also met with the DA. As a result of this, partly as a result of this, we think that the district attorney decided not to seek the death penalty at Neil's trial.
You act fast, you act immediately, you get in touch with us, and we can help you make sure that this guy gets the best representation possible.
An expert or a competent attorney I met this guy for less than 15 minutes once. Less than 15 minutes. He never bothered to show up, never bothered to contact my family.
In my view, it made a material difference to the outcome of this case. If we had been allowed and given the opportunity to support Linda Carty, if she'd been given all the support to which she was entitled and deserved, we would not be sitting here having this conversation. Something entirely different, I believe, would have happened at that trial, and Linda Carty would not now be facing a death penalty.
We do intervene, promoting what we believe is a fundamental value of citizens. We intervene in order to promote an informed debate about that penalty, but we also intervene in support of individual cases, particularly when these cases involve nationals of the European Union, but not only.
The consulate has unique expertise, not only in the culture, in the language that the defendant speaks, but also they have resources and ways of obtaining information, identifying experts, for example, who are competent to testify about certain aspects of the person's life that most defense attorneys just don't know about, because most defense attorneys will only represent one foreign national in their career who is facing the death penalty.
Certainly they can intervene and ask the district attorney, for example, not to seek the death penalty. They can help facilitate investigation in the home country and all sorts of evidence that can be vital to the defense of the case. They can file briefs that we can help them write so that the courts know that government's position. They can lobby the American authorities. They can do all sorts of things.
Having a foreign national client is unique because it provides you with a whole range of claims that you can make that you couldn't make in other cases. Obviously, claims under the Vienna Convention, claims about cultural differences, ineffective assistance of counsel for not humanizing your client and putting their culture in the perspective of the culture of the jury. So there's a lot of unique nuances that go along with representing a foreign national client, and Reprieve is great at helping you to develop and work up all of those issues.
Reprieve is a charity that I set up in 1999 to help prisoners on death row. Primarily we help British people and Europeans, but we do help others. And the whole point of it is to bring a little power to very, very powerless people.
It's important that the consular responsible people would involve and seek the help and assistance and cooperate with non-governmental organizations, Reprieve being one of them, and I would support joint activities that contribute to the promotion of our goals in this particular policy area.
So Reprieve's a key partner for the Consular Directorate. Their role is complementary to the FCO's, and we work really closely with them in trying to decide how we can best help British nationals overseas who are facing the death penalty.
Reprieve is invaluable in representing a foreign national client because they provide the bridge between you and what you're doing in this country with your client and the foreign government that's in Europe.
It's a real gift that you have organizations like Reprieve that are willing to provide the specialized assistance, both by liaising with foreign governments and helping to identify legal issues, as well as mitigation themes that are unique to these cases. So what you'll find is that the best lawyers are always welcoming when someone offers this kind of specialized assistance, because it benefits their clients. There's really no downside to it.
In my opinion, Reprieve is great. They're fabulous, and I highly recommend anyone representing a foreign national client in this country to contact them, because there's inevitably going to be some kind of assistance that they can provide, some amount of information they can give you that you wouldn't have come up with on your own.
Reprieve is here to help you in this important work. Together, we can save lives. Thank you.
And it's been great working with you all, and I look forward to working with you a lot more in the future.